The courtroom fell silent as Justice Merriweather rapped her gavel. All eyes turned toward the trembling witness stand, where a shabby, rust-colored stray dog waited. No one expected her to speak, but today, justice for all meant listening to the most unlikely hero of all. The hush stretched taut until a soft bark echoed, drawing gasps. This was no ordinary trial. This was a battle for truth, led by a rescuer without a voice. The city slept under a blanket of neon haze. In a narrow alley near downtown's financial district, a small pack of stray dogs foraged through overturned bins. Rusty, a dilapidated mutt with deep amber eyes, sensed something different that night. A hushed conversation above hinted at a dark secret, one powerful enough to change lives forever. Rusty's ears perked. From the rooftop edge of a skyscraper under construction, two men in tailored suits spoke in low tones. "The Titan project moves forward," one said, his voice clipped. "Ensure the old mill site is cleared by dawn. No witnesses." The other chuckled. "Consider it done. Kincaid wants no delays." A flash of movement, a glint of metal. Rusty's heart pounded as he watched a briefcase dropped over the ledge. It landed with a muted thud on an abandoned pallet below. The suits whisked away, leaving Rusty staring at the sealed case, smeared with dark stains. He circled it, nose twitching. The alley's silence pressed against him, broken only by distant traffic and the soft scurry of rats. Rusty pawed at the latch, but it held firm. He knew this was no ordinary night. He would not rest until he uncovered what lay inside. Rusty sat, eyes fixed on the rooftop shadow. He recognized something familiar in the echoing footsteps. Betrayal. The innocent would suffer if this briefcase remained hidden. It began on an ordinary Tuesday. The sun hadn't yet crested the horizon as Rusty stole through the shadows behind Titan Corp's gleaming skyscraper. Hunger gnawed at his ribs, but he paused when he spotted Marla Reyes, Kincaid's trusted lieutenant, emerge from a service door. In her hand, she clutched the very briefcase Rusty had seen days before. Marla stepped under an overhang. Rain began to sprinkle, patting her coat. She opened the case, retrieved thick envelopes stamped "confidential," rifled through, then paused, brow furrowed. A spatter of crimson marked the corner of a document. Rusty lunged forward, teeth snapping. Marla shrieked, dropping the case. The envelopes scattered, among them a ledger titled "Public Funds Allocation." Rusty nudged it open with his snout, revealing entries showing millions siphoned into shell corporations. Marla cursed, scooping the papers. But Rusty's eyes had seen enough. Environmental impact assessments showing toxic dumping in Millbrook, photographs of villagers protesting, and binary code logs tying Kincaid's backup servers to unauthorized surveillance of whistleblowers. She scooped the evidence and fled. Rusty darted after her, desperate to hold on to the truth. Marla vaulted a fence. Rusty crashed into the wood, yelping. The case, now sealed, slid down a storm-drained grate. Marla's silhouette disappeared into the dawn. Rusty limped back to retrieve the briefcase, but it was gone. A storm drain gurgled, mocking him. He howled, a low, haunting sound that echoed off the skyscrapers. Yet in that howl was a vow. He would not be silent. Rusty's howl drew no help. A night patrol car rolled by. He bounded toward it, yapping frantically. The officers shooed him away. The city was deaf to a stray's warning. He followed Marla's path into a dimly lit parking garage. The air smelled of oil and damp concrete. Rusty spotted her by a sleek black SUV, Titan Corp's insignia barely visible in the gloom. She emptied a small camcorder onto the asphalt, then hit delete. Rusty leaped, grabbing the device's remote control with his teeth. Buttons chewed, footage partially corrupted, but he managed to stow the battered device under a car. Marla emerged, glancing around. Rusty flattened himself beneath another vehicle. She stomped toward her SUV, locking it with a beep. Rusty watched as a dirt-covered private jet, emblazoned with Titan Corp's emblem, taxied down the runway. Rusty traced the jet's tail numbers in the mud, N2025K. He crouched, pawed out a makeshift printout of the numbers in the dirt. Dawn's light smeared across the hangar window. Rusty knew he had to hide the evidence where someone would find it. Under a pile of tires, he nudged the remote. Maybe Clara Morales, 2 blocks away, would notice this stray's unusual behavior. His chest heaved as he retreated, but his mind buzzed. This evidence could awaken the slumbering truth. Inside Titan Corp's opulent boardroom, Victor Kincaid addressed shareholders. Crystal chandeliers hung overhead. Marble tables gleamed. His baritone voice promised innovation, profit, and community stewardship. "Our Q1 earnings beat expectations," he declared, gesturing to a holographic chart. Investors applauded. None knew the true cost. The embezzlement, the forced evacuations of Millbrook villagers, the engineered spill of industrial waste, covered up by Titan Corp's legal team. After the meeting, Kincaid retreated to his private office. He stroked Max, his purebred golden retriever, whose haircut matched the company's logo color. He whispered, "Loyalty, boy. Loyalty and silence." His cell phone buzzed. A text from Marla. "The project is complete. No traces." Kincaid smiled, sipping aged bourbon. Outside, the city hummed. But darker currents flowed beneath the surface. Currents that Rusty's scrap of evidence threatened to expose. Late that night, Kincaid stared at his reflection in the window. City lights mirrored in his eyes. He mused, how long before someone unearthed the truth? Then he laughed, a cold, detached sound. 2 nights later, Rusty's limp turned into a full-leg immobility after a rooftop escape. He collapsed outside the modest row house of Clara Morales. A dedicated lawyer, Clara noticed him as she returned from a late clinic for injured animals. Clara knelt. "Hey there, poor thing. Let's get you inside." She whisked Rusty in, cleaned his wounds, and wrapped his leg. He whimpered but licked her hand as if thanking her. When she checked his collar-mounted device, a phone casing battered but intact, she frowned at the cracked screen showing multiple file icons. She plugged it into her laptop. File number 248, a blurred thumbnail of Marla Reyes standing over a bloodstained document. Clara zoomed, fingerprints smudged on the briefcase latch. Her heart raced. Rusty leaned in, watching the screen. Clara whispered, "Who are you, boy?" "A detective on 4 legs." She opened the camcorder's menu. Inside were dozens of files, each with incriminating images. Kincaid's signature on off-the-books memos, blueprints of secret waste tunnels, and receipts for laundering funds overseas. Clara's pulse pounded. She realized this stray held the key to a scandal far beyond her typical pro bono cases. Clara and her paralegal, Jamal, worked into the dawn. Excel sheets blinked with shell company names. GIS maps overlaid toxic spill zones. They subpoenaed satellite imagery, cross-checked employee schedules, and found anomalies. Marla's recorded absence during the Millbrook evacuation. Every lead pointed back to Victor Kincaid. Rusty lay beside Clara's desk, collar mic active. When Clara left to file motions, Rusty slipped out to patrol the block, alert for any sign of Marla or her cronies. That night, he returned with a damp folder dropped behind Clara's neighbor's dumpster. Blueprints of the old mill site showing hidden tunnels used to dump waste. They added it to their growing dossier. At 3 a.m., Clara stared at the mountain of evidence and sighed. "This could rewrite corporate history," she murmured. Jamal nodded, exhaustion and excitement mixing in his eyes. They prepared a 300-page brief, each section annotated, cross-referenced, and time-stamped, ready for court. On April 4th, 2025, the day the lawsuit went to court, media cameras lined the hall. Headline banners read, "Can a stray dog take down a billionaire?" Clara arrived with Rusty in a custom-built courtroom harness. Jamal carried a USB drive containing encrypted evidence. In the gallery sat Millbrook survivors, activists, and social media influencers. Kincaid's camp hired the best PR firm, handing out glossy pamphlets praising his philanthropy. Justice Merriweather entered precisely at 9 a.m. The bailiff called order. Clara rose, voice steady. "Your Honor, we're here to prove Victor Kincaid orchestrated crimes against public trust." Kincaid's lawyer, Reed Chambers, smirked. "We'll demonstrate the plaintiff's accusations are baseless and motivated by personal vendettas against Titan Corp." The judge's gaze swept the courtroom, pausing on Rusty. "I trust the court will maintain decorum even under unusual circumstances." She tapped her gavel. The trial was underway, but neither side knew the impact of a stray's voice yet to be heard. Reed Chambers took aim at Clara's evidence chain during cross-examination. "Ms. Morales, can you definitively place this evidence in Mr. Kincaid's hands?" he asked, waving a printout. Clara answered, "Yes. GPS metadata ties the files to the Titan Corp parking garage." Chambers sneered. "You expect this court to trust metadata from a stray dog's collar?" Rusty, sensing the contempt, leapt from Clara's side, pads skidding. He bounded to the witness stand, nose twitching at the mic. Gasps filled the chamber. "Objection!" Chambers barked. Justice Merriweather held up a hand. "Let the dog remain. Counsel, proceed without theatrics." Rusty sat. The judge nodded. Clara pressed a button. The room filled with Marla's recorded voice, her panic-stricken admission about the spillage. Murmurs erupted. In that moment, the courtroom remembered itself. Cameras captured every beat. Rusty's collar played the scratch recording. Marla, voice trembling. "He said we're covering up the spillage and to shred everything if Rusty gets close." The court's hush deepened. Clara fed in the full clip as jurors leaned forward. Chambers spluttered. "This is hearsay." Justice Merriweather ruled. "Audio evidence authenticated, admitted." Rusty barked twice as if emphasizing the truth. The jurors exchanged glances. The weight of the confession settled. Clara then introduced a second clip, Marla's phone call to Kincaid, her voice urgent. "We have a problem. The mutt escaped with the files." Kincaid replied coldly, "Find it. Destroy it." A collective intake of breath echoed. With the confession admitted, Clara presented 1. Email chains, Kincaid's directives under code names Project Paladin. 2. Lab reports, samples of Millbrook water exceeding toxicity limits by 300%. 3. Whistleblower affidavits, former Titan Corp engineer under witness protection. 4. Financial logs, offshore account transfers matching public fund deficits. Rusty's collar mic recorded the jurors' whispers. Clara paused, letting silence underscore the weight of the truth. Chambers tried to discredit a report, but Rusty barked insistently, collar rattling. The courtroom chuckled. The tension broke. Clara pressed on, unflinching. By late afternoon, the defense had no recourse. Each rebuttal was met with another layer of evidence. After closing arguments on April 18, 2025, the jury retired. Clara patted Rusty's head, whispering, "You did it, boy." Outside, cameras swarmed. 2 hours later, the bailiff returned with the verdict. "We find the defendant, Victor Kincaid, guilty on all counts." Cheers erupted. Kincaid stood, pale, escorted away. Clara hugged Rusty as tears streaked down her cheeks. Legal aid celebrated. News crawlers hailed Rusty the Stray. Major newspapers published front-page editorials. Canine courage unmasked corporate crime. Social media stats soared. Funds were seized, $1.2 billion allocated for environmental remediation and reparations. Titan Corp's board ousted Kincaid. The victory felt personal, for the victims, for Clara, and for Rusty. 6 months later, Rusty received the Civic Bravery Medal in a ceremony at City Hall. Clara launched the Human Animal Legal Aid Foundation, pairing rescued animals with pro bono lawyers to pursue justice in forgotten cases. Titan Corp, under new leadership, pledged transparency, community development, and environmental stewardship. We learned the hard way, its CEO announced. Rusty, once a forgotten stray, now roams city parks serenely, tongue-lolling. Children waved, journalists wrote follow-ups. His story became a beacon of hope, proof that even the smallest voice can topple giants. And that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales like this. Until next time, take care.